Hello and welcome to SEC Baseball Reaction on a Sunday night. I'm Chris Lee, your host, joined by Alfred Esmond and Jay Greason. We are talking about a ton of interesting action in the SEC today. Your final scores: Texas beats Texas A&M 6-5 to take the series. Kentucky over South Carolina 11-5. A&M sweeps that series. Kentucky wins its 2-1. LSU wins the rubber game against Tennessee 12-2 in 8 innings to take the series from the Vols. Vanderbilt salvages a game at Ole Miss with a 13-0 7-inning win in Oxford. Auburn takes the series 2-1 from Mississippi State with a 14-8 win. And Florida beats Arkansas in probably the upset of the weekend to take the series in Gainesville. We will talk about all those and the weekend shortly. First, a reminder, though, help out those who help our show. That, in this case, is Cherubundi. If you like to work out and you like a little help in your recovery, boy, these are the guys for you. You can get their tart cherry juice. You can get that in concentrate form in a pouch, which you can take with you on the go. You can get the same thing in the gummies. You can get the gummies for sleep if you need that at night. They got melatonin in them. Those are good too. Anyway, Cherubundi has got tremendous high-quality products. I've been using them, and so do a lot of people who are world-class athletes. Every NFL team are among the 500 collegiate and professional sports teams that use their products. 10 of the last 11 Super Bowl champions. Every team playing in Europe or Brazil this season had Cherubundi with them. 66 to 67 power conference teams, and every NCAA football and basketball tournament team or champion since 2007. Try them, you like them. Go to cherubundi.com. You can get that in the notes and on the scrolling marquee. Use promo code SE20 for 20% off your order. Help out those who help us, and you'll be glad you did. Gentlemen, what a weekend we had in college baseball. I think the headliner was Texas winning 3 one-run games over Texas A&M in a series that few people were paying attention to. Might have a few Texas fans in the chat right now. You had Tennessee and LSU in a wild series that LSU won going away after starting its closer today. What a crazy day of baseball. Florida kind of got overlooked by the other series, beating Arkansas. Alfred, I'll start with you. What stands out?
Well, looking at Texas, man, this is the number one team in the country. I don't think we can really even discuss it anymore until action happens next weekend. They completely just, came up big in these close games against their arch rival and got the sweep in. Today's game, super impressed with Duplantier coming in after Jason Flores, going 68 pitches and 5 2/3 innings. Strike, even though giving up 3 earned runs, he was, sturdy enough to go a good length into this game. He stood out to me, and Adrian Rodriguez came up clutch for the Longhorns in the 8th inning with his home run. Huge one there, and then LSU put a stamp on a home series win. That is a good statement to kind of climb back in the national rankings. Big-time stuff there. Also, good on Auburn, too, this series win against Mississippi State to get right back on track, right back, into the thick of the hosting conversation, obviously. So those are the things that stood out to me over the weekend.
For me, I'm going to go with the good first. And LSU has their next Ben McDonald, their next Paul Skeens. Casan Evans is that dude now.
Yeah.
I mean, he is, tip of the visor, all credit to all of you guys in the chat about Texas deserves all of the credit. You win 3 one-run games in that emotional environment, and you sell 20,000+ tickets to every home game. That was wonderful, not only for your program, not only for the game, but for the atmosphere of college baseball. But I'm going to go, dude, Casan Evans got his first SEC start. His last pitch in the 6th inning was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball that he threw by the Tennessee hitter. And, I mean, I don't know if he could – I mean, he had a rocky first inning that I'm going to attribute to nerves. But Holy buckets. Casan Evans is him.
Yeah, and somebody brought that up last night in the chat. We were saying, who might LSU start tomorrow? And somebody said Casan Evans. I kind of dismissed it.
Josh Carter. I did too.
Yeah, it was Josh. And just because a lot of times coaches are sensitive about who they use where, and sometimes guys are more sensitive, like coming out of the bullpen, not starting games. And I just thought putting a freshman in that spot was a big ask, especially when they had Cowan, who did finish the game, oddly enough. So hats off to Jay Johnson. He had a hunch and he played it.
Yeah, very much so. And it worked out for them in the end. I mean, they run ruled this Tennessee team in 8 innings too. It was just a good display of offense. And I'll go a step further. A guy who's also a dude on LSU. My apologies to the Texas fans in the chat for Dylan Volantis, but Derek Curiel is my freshman of the year in the SEC as of right now. Phenomenal day for him at the plate. He's that dude in their lineup. And again, only a freshman. So big time stuff from him. Super impressed. 5 RBIs, homered in this game and went 4 for 4 at the plate. Was leading the charge in this big win, this big series win for them. And this is an LSU team bubbling with confidence after beating Tennessee.
Hey,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, can we offer this now? Because Tennessee had their hands around this series. Is there reason to worry in Knoxville right now? I mean, that's a super good team, and don't get me wrong, they got all the pieces, but they find a way to lose against really good competition. And you know who you're going to see in really good competition? Late May.
Yeah, I don't know where I stand on that yet, honestly. I think this series could have – the way that you felt about Tennessee could have gone much differently, right? Mm-hmm. Because Liam Doyle is probably the best arm in the league right now among starting pitchers. And he's just a lock-it-down Friday night guy. I mean, you just hope you can scratch out a couple of runs and hold them down on Fridays. And then you saw what Marcus Phillips did, which was super impressive. I thought he was my player of the day yesterday. And you're going, okay, we know what A.J. Russell is capable of doing, okay? So if Russell goes out today and, say, gives them 5 innings, a 2-run ball, the conversation about Tennessee is very different coming out of this weekend.
Yeah.
And you're saying, okay, now this looks like it could be the team to beat. Instead, Russell got pulled after 9 batters, was not effective. Neither was pretty much anybody in their bullpen that threw after him, which made it worse. You had fielding gaffes on Friday, followed by, a base running circus by Kentucky the weekend before. That's a lot of issues in the span of, 9 or 10 days. Now, that is a very, very pessimistic outlook. I'm not saying that's how I think of Tennessee. I'm just saying if you want to bring up issues, Tennessee has given people some to discuss the last couple of weekends. I still think my lean is I think this is still a really good team, and sometimes playing really good teams, especially on the road, or a team that's just a bad matchup, and maybe that's all it was. Maybe nobody's beating LSU in Baton Rouge this weekend. Mm-hmm. Maybe Kentucky's just a nightmare because of the way they play ball. I don't know how it turns out, but I'm a lot more concerned about them than I was 2 weekends ago.
The good news.
I think we need to reboot, and to what Alfred said, there's not any way that Texas is not viewed as – I mean, Nick Saban could be in the dugout for all I know because they are an absolute mother.
Motoring.
Yeah.
Motoring. My thing with Tennessee, the one advantage they do have, and I think Vol fans need to keep in mind, they have a big homestand coming up. 3 midweeks at home, and the weekend series in that stretch are Auburn and Vanderbilt, which are tough opponents in their own right. The good news is that you get them in Knoxville. And after that, you have the Fayetteville series in Arkansas, which doesn't look too good for you right now, although we'll get into Arkansas. They struggled this weekend. But yeah, that's my thing with Tennessee is you are very fortunate to be saying we're back at home again. I think a national seed is going to be very difficult to come by at this rate. But but you very well can host again. I mean, there's still going to be a host if the season ended today, at the very least. So just look at it that way. I mean, the Vanderbilt series will be hard. Chris, you know that better than anybody. This decade, really, how hard that series is against these two teams. Jay, I mean, that Auburn series next weekend is going to be great in Knoxville. But nonetheless, you get the Lindsey Nelson crowd to your back. So we'll see how it goes then. But yeah, you gotta kind of win a series, in the next couple if you're Tennessee.
Let's go to Texas for just a minute. Like, how many different heroes has this team had? Today, it's probably Adrian Rodriguez. Exactly. You need to use your toes, too. Today, Adrian Rodriguez hits the game winner. Ethan Walker pitched the third of an inning. I didn't even know he was on the roster. Grubbs finishes it out at the end. Grayson Saunier gives him a quality inning in the third, although they made it interesting. Like, these are guys, Duplanier. These are not, like, when we talk about Texas, there are 5 or 6 guys that I'd say we usually talk about before any of those. They just keep figuring out a way every weekend, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've been around sports, Alfred. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I've been around sports all my life. From being an 8-year-old at the ballpark where my dad was the commissioner of the league to now being 25 years in sports journalism. I think the best compliment I can give a coach is your team is better than the sum of its parts. And I don't know if there's a better description for Texas right now. Because let's not sleep on the fact they got a bona fide all SEC Friday night starter in Jared Spencer, who was not available this weekend. So how does that juggle all of your other things? And they still sweep the hottest team in America. And they were all 1-run games. Mm-hmm. I mean, man, whatever they're paying Schlossnagle, he's about to get into Saban country that no matter what his contract is, he's underpaid.
Yeah, very much so. It's been so many great guys that have stepped up too. Rylan Galvan was another guy who was great today with 2 hits. That it's how I will keep saying it until it stops. It's how you combat the Max Ballou injury problem is you have everyone pick up the slack like they have. And that has continued. They have guys on the bench who don't play as much that can do it. Super impressed. And if it continues, it's hard to see them slowing down at this rate. 19-2 guys in SEC play. The team that comes to mind that combats that is 2022 with Tennessee when they had 5 losses in SEC play. Texas is entering that territory at this rate if it keeps up. So we'll see if it continues. They are, again, I've said, so many great things about them. They're the number 1 team in the country right now, hands down.
The stat that blew my mind was, and this was when Texas A&M still had the lead on ESPN2 or wherever the channel had it. There were only 3 teams that had ever been 18-2 since the conference schedule had expanded to 30 games. And that was, as Alfred mentioned, 2022 Tennessee, 2013 Vandy. Both of those teams were 18-2. Now Texas is 19-2. Mm-hmm. And Graham, pull up a chair, brother. But, I think Texas is a more dunk come our power rankings at 1 or as big a dunk as Missouri is at 16.
Safe bet.
Yeah.
Well, I like safe bets.
I'm going to throw something out for you guys because I've been thinking all year, like, I think Liam Doyle right now is the pitcher of the year in the SEC. But I'm trying to think, like, who was the player of the year? I think there's been a lot of guys that have had really nice seasons. But the more I think about it, and I'd have to look at it before I give a final answer. I think if right now I had to pick a player of the year in the league, it's Rylan Galvan.
Yeah, certainly in a discussion. I mean, he was on a tear earlier and is still maybe not the front-lining hero of these games, but he's contributing. As I said, Adrian Rodriguez had the home run to win it, but Rylan Galvan was next up when it came to offensive, the offense production you usually see. So he would be another great bet. It's going to be something we have to think about, because I don't know who else it would be really beyond him. I mean, could you do Liam Doyle too for player? I know it's just.
Yeah, I mean, I like to.
He's
like to
not.
separate them out, but
He's not Kershaw, Verlander good,
right?
You can't be MVP and Cy Young. He's not at that level.
Here's the thing: like, if you took his numbers and made him a first baseman, then I think he's still in discussion. But he's a catcher. So, I mean, to hit like that and to take the toll of catching, and man, he's barely missed a game. He started 37 games. I mean, that kind of bat and that kind of durability, I think that's your guy right now.
Yeah, out of any.
Also, Randy in the chat, disagree on Jace. Jace is going to be fine.
Jace took a home run away today, guys.
Yeah.
Which he's done at least a couple other times.
Caden Sorrell was awesome today. He had that great catch in the outfield and was spectacular on offense for them. They're glad to have him back. As weird as this is going to sound, and I'm sure A&M fans don't want to hear it because they got swept, but you were like this close every game. I mean, you came as close as you can get. So I'd still be pretty confident about your team going forward. Again, you've come this far after your abysmal start. I would say you just kind of plateaued a little bit this weekend, even though you didn't pick up any wins. So
yeah, here I agree, Alfred. But here's the thing about A&M: like, their margin of error is like razor thin the rest of the way, just because of the hole they've dug themselves in.
Right.
Yeah, because they're now what? They're 10. What are they in the league?
Hold on, 8 and 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
they
there's
go to LSU and then Missouri and then at Georgia. My goodness.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, LSU. I'm sorry, LSU is in College Station. Excuse me.
So they're gonna get 3. So that would be what? That's 11. So
you better plan on taking 2 or 3 from LSU.
Yeah.
In College Station, because we all know what Foley Field is.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that.
Although
I don't know, they could compete down
the
there.
over-under on those games, and we'll talk about it later this week. I'm gonna set all of them at 12.5, and I don't care who's pitching.
Yeah.
See, I still think they make it.
I did too.
They'll figure it out.
Just because they're number 1 and what they did last year. Like, it's not a machine that makes all the decisions. It's a committee of 10 people, and they're human, so they're gonna be like, oh yeah, this team is good just because of what they saw last year and their preseason number 1. That's gonna happen.
Right.
Graham, since you joined us late, we hit LSU Tennessee a little bit. Hey, the decision to start Casan Evans was brilliant. He, that now he's established he can pitch in any role. Look, is LSU may be your weekend's biggest winner. With all apologies to Texas. Texas had already locked in a lot. I had a few questions about LSU coming out of maybe the midweek, and their schedule among SEC teams have been a little bit easier. But I think to see them slam the door pitching-wise and give up 2 runs and run rule Tennessee on a Sunday is about as strong a statement as you can make.
It is. And before I say anything, your boy has Texas and LSU, so life is good.
Yeah, we've conceded that now.
Doty.
Now I'm just playing not to get embarrassed in the pick'em contest. I know that's what I get for cheating off your paper. To see what you had, and then taking the opposite.
Who picked Texas in the team
draft? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you mean
right
in the team pick'em thing?
Texas and LSU, yeah. Before the season started, yep.
I'm not playing with you anymore.
Wow.
But like my takeaways from the LSU game, like we were wondering last night, what are they going to do with Zach Cowan, especially since he pitched in game 1. So they didn't start him, and they utilized him for 2 innings, and I don't think you could draw it up better pitching wise for LSU in this one, especially since they run ruled Tennessee. So, Currier on that leadoff spot, 5 RBIs today. My goodness. He's going to be on all kinds of award lists at the end of the season. I guess my question for everybody, like, does this change your view of Tennessee? Because it's been a tough sledding the last 3 to 4 weeks for them.
We were just having that talk before you got here. So, yeah.
Graham, I said that they're at home for a while after this, which really does help them, and it's fortunate for them that they are. You do need to win one of these upcoming series against Auburn or Vanderbilt. I think that's really vital for you to do that. It's tough games, but with that being said, you get the benefit of being back in Knoxville for a little bit before you go to Fayetteville to end the year, which will help you.
But Alfred, they have to leverage this, because if we're going to bank on them being better at Lindsey Nelson Stadium, then are we viewing them in the same way as we view Georgia? I mean, because if they got to go on the road, they have struggled. I mean, when you're dealing with this many freshmen and this many freshmen in key places, especially being that third starter, I mean, don't get me wrong, Tennessee's got as much talent as anybody in America. I am not refuting that whatsoever. But they gave that game away Friday night, and then they turned around and got dominated by Casan Evans today. I mean, Casan Evans was just pumping heat after pumping heat. And so, I mean, they're going to see a bunch of dudes. Sure, they'll roll through the first round, but you're going to see dudes that are going to be able to throw some smoke. And if everything's leveraged on the long ball, I mean, I'm starting to have questions about Tennessee and Georgia, to be quite honest.
Well, I guess 3 teams. Who do you feel the best about versus, like, who are you worried about down the stretch among Tennessee, Georgia, Arkansas?
I'm more worried about Arkansas, and we hadn't even started talking about that, Graham.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Arkansas has got a whole lot. I mean, Arkansas is like, it feels like they're really the team that's trying to be the jack of all trades and not great at any. I mean, we know that Georgia and Tennessee are going to mash, and we know Tennessee's got Liam Doyle. So what we know there gives me a whole lot of more confidence in those 2 teams than, and it's crazy to think in this league. 3 weeks ago, I'm pretty certain we had the conversation that Arkansas may have been the best team in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, Georgia concerns me the least out of that group, just because their hard games are at home, and they're the just a juggernaut at Foley Field. And then Tennessee, I'm giving them the benefit of just kind of being back at home and being comfortable with that, regardless of the results they've had. Yeah, Arkansas is a whole nother thing we should get into, because it's been bad. This was kind of concerning, not winning this series in Gainesville.
Okay, I've got different answers than all of you, but I want to hear you unpack your Arkansas concern first, Alfred.
Well, I'll start with the game today. I mean, you kind of, you score in the first few innings and then you get blanked in the middle, and that was really just that was Friday. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Oh, sorry. Here we are. You score early on still. You score in the second inning with 5 runs, and then you're just blanked the rest of the way. Landon Beetleshees, for whatever reason, just did not go far in his start whatsoever. I don't really think there was an injury reason for that. I just think Dave Van Horn decided to put in Bybee for some reason. And then worse on top of that, I don't know if you guys saw, Carson Wiggins got hurt and left the game today, which is big. I mean, that's a horse out of their bullpen that they love as a freshman who hits 100 on like every single pitch. It's ridiculous, but he goes. And then, yeah, I mean, it was just shut down stuff from really the entire Gator staff beyond Billy Barlow, who got the start. I mean, Jake Clemente, fabulous again. Luke McNeely was really good, earned the win. And Florida scored, I mean, in every inning except 2 in this one. And they just had no answer for them pitching, where usually that's the story. And that's why Arkansas is so good. So you kind of got to get that squared away, because usually they've had the offense this year to back themselves up. And they just couldn't find that consistently throughout this weekend. And the pitching went awry, and that was the issue. Now I think I saw something, 3 straight series losses in conference play for the first time since 2007. Very odd and unlike Arkansas. So that's what concerns me a little bit about them. And hopefully Carson Wiggins is okay, because that's just a really good arm they can go to down the stretch of the season.
See, I am still, and I'm not looking at circumstances. You guys are looking at schedules and saying who you're most concerned about. And maybe if the question is who's going to have the best record of the remaining 9 conference games, that's a different question. To me, I'm still most concerned about Georgia. I just think the splits in their ballpark and away from home, and I just don't trust their pitching. I know Arkansas's pitching has not been what we thought it would be the last month or so. I still trust the talent there. Sometimes teams just hit a rough patch. And I think that Tennessee, gosh, I mean, Doyle's almost an automatic win right now on Fridays. And then, although Sam Dutton will have something to say about that next weekend. And then they've just got so many arms. I mean, if Phillips shows out like he did last night, they're going to be tough to beat. I mean, look, Tennessee's got a bunch of holes. We just talked about them, or a bunch of holes. I don't know if that's the issue. Defensively, they definitely have some. And right. I do worry, do they just have a bunch of talented guys? You know, they'll pitch 18 guys or whatever it is. Are they all just guys who throw hard, who aren't that refined yet? Because let's face it, a lot of those guys are pitching at this level on a big stage for the first time. You got freshmen, you got JUCO kids, you got group of 5 type transfers. And Arkansas has got, I think Hunter Dietz got hurt. He was supposed to be back. And then he got hurt by like a freak, one of those band injuries in the bullpen where you're pulling the bands, and I think it snapped back and hit him in the eye or something like that. I think they've got some pieces. You know, let's not forget Gackle and Wood were pretty good yesterday, guys.
They were. Martin mentioned
that
too. Yeah. Today was the bad pitching, whatever. That's when that came out. Yesterday, that was not the deal, obviously. But in the end, if you're Arkansas guys, based on how they've been usually this year, you gotta beat Florida, you know, in a series, regardless where it is. So, we'll see. That was just definitely the most disappointing result. Was that was more disappointing, obviously, than Tennessee going to Baton Rouge and losing. That was definitely more real than what happened in Gainesville.
What do you think is the difference between a rough patch and a trend?
Well, to me, I think with we saw how good Arkansas can get in the peak of what they can be prior to these 3 series they've had, right? So I would go. I would be more concerned about it being a trend if it continues again next weekend, and we'll see. But, you know, right now I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt of it being a rough patch, because we've seen what they can do and how good they could be. And so, you know, I'll consider it a rough patch at this point, because they've just been better at certain points this year other than this.
I will add this: rough patch or trend, either one that you want to reference, timing matters. And we are now 2 to 3 weeks left in the regular season. And if that timing matters and you're going to allow this to creep into, you're going to sleepwalk into the postseason, I mean, nobody cares about the SEC tournament. I mean, if you have your tickets to Hoover, go enjoy yourself. It's a wonderful town and you'll have a great time. But All of this now for the next 3 weeks is about positioning either for a whole bunch of bottom tier teams to get in the tournament, a whole bunch of mid tier teams to host a first round, and a whole bunch of the upper tier teams to host the next 2 rounds. And I know we'll talk about it all next week, but regardless of how you view Arkansas, a rough patch or slump or trend, they better fix it pretty doggone quickly.
Mm-hmm. Chris, you want to address the super chat?
Yeah, and then we'll get back to Arkansas. Yeah, Quinn, one of our biggest fans of our basketball stuff in on baseball. Good to see you, Quinn. Auburn baseball back on track, 5 of 7 series wins. Need to get 1 in Knoxville. If get 2, that'll be gravy. He's right. They get 2 in Knoxville. They are a top 8 national seed.
Yeah.
They're catching Tennessee at the right time. I don't care where that series is. So Auburn, tons of momentum right now. Tennessee, it's been a rough 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's talk about that one next. The rough patch thing, I can give. Look, I think Arkansas is really good. A month ago, I thought they were the team that's going to win the whole thing. When everybody else was freaking out, I stuck with them. Am I a little bit more concerned now than I was? Yeah, but you can also say this. Look, the last 3 series they lost at Georgia, 2 one-run games, place where nobody's winning a series right now other than A&M, which they played A&M and lost 2 or 3 there, and then they went to Florida. And I did say, look out for Florida because the pitching they're getting from Aiden King and Liam Peterson, they can beat just about anybody on the right night. They've been playing better ball. So, I mean, nothing can make you look bad in baseball more than playing a good team. I just think they played 3 really good teams, which unfortunately in the SEC, that's the situation all but 2 weekends. So
I'll say this, like a big part of baseball is when you play somebody. Like the timing is a big deal. So if Arkansas played Florida and Texas A&M 3 to 4 weeks ago, who do you think wins that series? Arkansas. They're just catching these teams at unfortunate times for them. And then on the flip side, like Ole Miss this weekend, Ole Miss called Vandy at an absolute perfect time. Vandy, they're the first team in the SEC that has finals, to my knowledge. So Vandy, they lost in midweek. Then they got to head to Oxford on Thursday. And then one of your better arms doesn't even make the trip because he has a family emergency situation. So, like, for Ole Miss, not saying that's the only reason why the Rebels won the series, but it certainly didn't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right about that. I mean, in some teams called A&M early in the season when they weren't playing well, and got series wins that they might not get now. So I think, but one thing with Arkansas too, we don't talk about Will McIntyre a lot, but that's a guy that they got sitting back there that can give them 6 quality innings out of the blue. And so I think there's a little bit of margin for error there with their pitching, even with some guys getting hurt. And I think their rotation guys feels like it's bound to pitch better than it's pitched. Could be wrong, but
I'll tell you, I mean, it makes it intriguing down the stretch. Texas in the driver's seat, 5-game cushion. What's 2 through 4 going to look like?
Right.
With 3 weekends to go.
Yeah. Jay, let's talk Auburn a minute. Go ahead. Finish with what you were going to do. I wanted to get to Auburn.
You said, Graham, I'm more intrigued what 4 through 8 looks like because those are the ones who are wrestling for national seats.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I'm happy to talk Auburn. I mean, and I'm happy to talk about the other end of that. I mean, there's a whole lot of conversation to be had because Auburn looks the part now. I mean, I know that one was at home, and I know they're just coming off a sweep, losing at Texas. But as we've seen, losing 3 at Texas ain't gonna be a blemish on the resume.
No, not at all. So I guess speaking of timing, like perfect timing for me since I had game 1 of that series and got to see him in person. especially in that new ballpark, or not new, but updated ballpark, which is great. Like to me, Auburn has all the right pieces. They're really to me, they're really the only team in the conference that's like a nice mix of freshmen and like guys that have been there for a while, like Cooper McMurray and Ike Irish, people like that. Nobody else really has a lineup like that. And it just feels like they're freshmen. Each freshman just flashes at different points throughout the course of a weekend. Like Bub Terrell, he didn't really play all that much this weekend in this series. And that's a guy that's going to make the SEC freshman team. Renberg got a lot of action this weekend, and he was really good for Auburn. But yeah, Auburn is a team that's going to be heavily in the mix. Having seen Dutton pitch, guys, it's hard to describe, but when you watch a game on TV or like on your computer monitor, and then when you see it in person, you just get a better feel for in person. Dutton has the best curveball in the SEC. So when he throws 95, when you're in the mid 90s consistently, and then he throws that 12-6 lollipop curveball with all the spin on it that's 65, good luck hitting that.
Yeah, they got.
Offense,
go ahead, Alfred. I'm sorry.
I was going to say the offense was fabulous today from Auburn. That really stood out to me. They're going to be hard to beat. I know they played Mississippi State, who is at this point very suspect of an opponent in the SEC. But man, I love Chris Rembert. He is right up there and will definitely be on an all-freshman team if we decide to make that at the end of the year. He is fabulous. Was great today. He homered today, I believe. And then other guys, Eric Guevara, very great having him back, 3 hits. Cooper McMurray with 3 hits. Lucas Steele came up big. Chase Freilich, another freshman, came up big. 14 hits today as a team for Auburn. They went ahead way early and just didn't really look back, even though Mississippi State periodically tried to crack back into the game a little bit. Nonetheless, though, it was pretty much in their control the whole time. And a good question from War Eagle in the chat as well. He said, what do we think Auburn's record needs to be over the next 9 SEC games to be a national seed? CEDE is how seed was spelled, which I really get a laugh at. My answer to that, very briefly, War Eagle, I think that what was said earlier about Tennessee was right. 1 win there is great for them. I don't really think it's imperative that they win that series. 2 would be fabulous, and I think that really puts them in the driver's seat for 1. But let's say they get 1 there. Your next opponents are South Carolina at home and then at Ole Miss. South Carolina would not be shocked about a sweep, honestly, that happening. In fact, I would go with that happening for Auburn. That'll really help you a ton. And then Ole Miss winning that series, if what I just said before happens, if you win that Ole Miss series, I think you're pretty golden with a good Hoover also to help you if that happens.
Yeah. I think if they win 4 more, that would be 15 SEC wins. They're going to host with that.
Right.
And, they would be borderline national seed. So, and to me, 4 more wins is a pretty conservative number.
Chris, are they still number 1 nationally in strength of schedule? Because they don't get Missouri, and 6 of those 10 SEC losses were at Foley Field and in Austin.
But before I answer that, I've got a question for you, Graham. Has anybody ever gone 15-15 in the league and gotten a host?
I'm sure somebody. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Let me see if I can Google it.
I think it's been 16-14 is what it's taken. I could be wrong. And again, this year could
just
be an outlier.
Host or national seed? Okay.
Host. I know not national seed. While you look that up, Jay, they still have the number 1 strength of schedule. I looked at Warren Nolan's predicted RPI, and they're predicted to still have the number 1 strength of schedule after the year.
Jared Jones confirmed it in our chat after a great series in Baton Rouge this weekend, which is awesome.
That's right. Jared's versatile. He does a lot of stuff. He hits 450-foot bombs, and he contributes in the chat.
Right.
Talks trash to the home plate umpire.
Into Ariel Antigua.
What's wrong with that? I mean,
Nothing in his case. He had every right to
umpires. I
celebrate.
mean, dear God, man, this
That's
is a whole different conversation. We need to do like Southeastern 16 big picture, because holy buckets! If you watched any NBA game today, my God, the officiating is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great. There are a lot of people online now talking about how bad zones change day to day. But all that stuff Jared Jones does, that's a Bayou Bengal, if you ask me, guys. I have no problems with it whatsoever. But
if Auburn gets to 16 and 14, sorry, Alfred, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I was done.
Yeah, I mean that's a slam dunk. Hosting. I think 17 could get him there, guys. Maybe. I mean, here's your way to do it.
Sweep South Carolina.
Yeah, and don't get swept against Tennessee or Ole Miss. That gives you 1 out of 3 each time. So then that gets you to 16. That gets you a host. I think you take one of those 2 series, and you might be a national seed.
I say that too. And then not awful Hoover, I think, confirms it if they care to do it. But if I were them, I would care to do it to help secure it. But
I don't think Hoover's going to matter at all unless you're somebody like Mississippi State, or like you just got to have it. Like you got to rack up some good quality wins where you can.
Does that lead us now to Mississippi State's now, and they need to like make certain the red phones over there, because they're in like nuclear mode.
Yeah. Well, so prior to this weekend, according to D1 Baseball, they were the last team in the tournament, and then they didn't win the series.
Yeah.
I don't see how they are at 7-14 in SEC play. And
who they got left, Chris?
Well, they get the free spot on the bingo card, and then they also get Kentucky and Ole Miss.
And Ole Miss is in Starkville.
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of is okay, I'd say.
Yeah, but you're looking at a team that really probably needs to win 7 of those 9 games.
Yes.
Like let's say they sweep Missouri and Ole Miss. That's 13 wins.
And then they get 1 against Kentucky. That's 14.
So I mean that's as bubbly as you can get.
Right.
As bubbly as you can get, but we've talked frequently, and I still don't deviate, even though Graham's wearing us out with his picks. I do not deviate from laundry matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's the problem. Let's see. My goodness, today, and we knew this going in. They missed Arkansas, Georgia, Tennessee, A&M, Vandy. Right now, they're currently 6-9 on the road. Missouri's on the road, so that's a chance to boost that a little bit.
Yeah.
Right now, they're 5-16 in quad 1. So Missouri's going to give them nothing there. Non-conference strength of the schedule 229. The committee's not going to like that.
Mm-mm.
And let's see.
Hold on, before you say anything else, one feather they got in their cap, Mr. Scott Strickland is on the committee.
Yeah. You did mention that the other day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that may trump anything I'm about to say.
It's very odd. See, where are they ranked, guys? Team batting average in the SEC. This is so odd to me.
They're higher than you think.
Yeah, way higher than I think. Like way higher.
Well, I was going to answer with my traditional TFL-NM. That's dead bleeping last, not Missouri. But no, if you're deliver the punchline here, Alfred.
5th. They are a top 5 team off team batting average in the league, and they're 7-14 in SEC play. I don't know how their pitching's not great at all. They're 10th in that in team ERA.
It's the bullpen.
Right. It has to be. It's just shocking to me how that's the result that you get out of that kind of hitting. That's good.
Like
on paper.
Even the game they won, like they had a monster lead. They go to the bullpen, and then Auburn made it interesting late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, I don't think it's just the bullpen. I think I would bet you, just looking at some numbers here that kind of tell me how many runs a team ought to score and how many they score. I would bet you that they are at or near the bottom. I bet you there is a big discrepancy between what they hit with runs with bases empty and in men in scoring position.
Yeah. No,
I think that's part of it
too. They're definitely part of it. That just like I was while y'all were talking, I was looking at that and I was like 5th in the SEC in the hitting, and they're like this. I mean,
their pitching numbers are good too. I mean, like the stats, you take them out and you try to assemble what does this team look like, and it doesn't make sense.
Right. It's very odd. We'll see. I do think what you guys are saying though about Laundry and Strickland is true, and they get that benefit. And heading into the year, I said it when the SEC schedule came out, they had the most favorable one because the only Omaha SEC team they had to face this year was Kentucky. So I take that back. It was the only SEC team that's not what it was. It was the only SEC team above 500 in league play last year that they had to play, because they did also play Florida, so that doesn't count. But very favorable heading into the year nonetheless. So it's just kind of weird how this turned out. Might be one of the more disappointing. I know the roster, Chris, you were like, there's no names here that stand out, but regardless, I think it's still pretty disappointing what you've seen all said and done.
Well, here's what I'll say about that. Like, you got guys like Hunter Hines and Pico, people like that have been there for a while, but they're so portal heavy this year. Like, you took guys from literally all over the country and you bring them to Starkville, and it's like, figure this out. And like a lot of these guys, this is the biggest stage that they played on.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you come from USC upstate, Houston, Indiana State, like it's just a different level of baseball. Like you got way more eyeballs and way more people care about it in the state of Mississippi than what a lot of these guys are used to, like that is a big part of it.
Right.
Graham, I might try to go ahead, Alfred.
I was going to say, it's not Spartanburg, South Carolina anymore for Noah Sullivan. I'll tell you that much.
They hit on him though. Like he's good. Like
he's very good.
He's really good.
Maybe their best
he's
player.
Probably going to be second team SEC at worst.
Mm-hmm.
I have a potential hole in your Scott Strickland theory, and it's the Florida Gators.
Oh,
well, yeah, he's going to.
Those might be your last two teams. I'm just saying, if you're trying to.
He would pick the Gators because they pay the bills. But if he can get both, you better believe he's going to get both.
Yeah, that's 14 though. Yeah, I mean, look, hey, is the guy that when we did the NCAA tournament for basketball said, hey, you can just, I know people saying North Carolina's not going to get it, but look on the committee who's there, Bubba Cunningham, and it happened. So yeah. I'm not doubting. I'm just saying that would be.
And then he gets asked about it, and he's like, I left the room. It's like, okay.
Yeah, well, right.
Chris, another great pitcher today that wasn't named Casan Evans? Mr. Fennell was fabulous.
Oh, man. Did you guys watch that game?
Yes.
So I think we have a group chat, and I think I sent you guys like, that was I don't know if I've ever seen Mike Bianco get that upset. I mean, he will every once in a while, but like not like hold me back, umpires protect home plate umpire level mad. That was something else.
Well, and Wes Johnson at Georgia had a lot of the same issue last week. The kid, it's not quick pitching, because quick pitching is kind of like when you throw in a lot quicker but like every pitch is kind of a quick pitch. Like he will get rid of it with 16 left on the pitch clock and not even blink.
Yeah. There's nobody like him in the league. Like he's one of one.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he's one of 1,000 in 3 years for multiple reasons. Major League Baseball is doing everything in their power to make games quicker. Hitters already, I mean, for God's sakes, man, if somebody walks, they go down to first base and they look like they're undressing from a joust. They're taking off arm pads. They're taking off shin guards,
face masks.
I mean, face masks. I mean, it looks like they're getting out of combat. Every chance a pitcher can get to take advantage of whatever it is, and let's not even talk about the way it helps your defense, because they are engaged in every single play because they know you are going to work quickly and you're going to throw strikes. So it is not only your MO, it is strategic. So those guys can go suck a lemon, man. I mean, guys who bellyache about that, hitters get every advantage these days. So, I mean, non-Auburn players, Fennell's my favorite player in the SEC.
He's awesome. I love it. I love it.
I got his conditioning quote.
What's that?
I got his post-game quote if you guys want it.
I would love to hear this.
All right. He said, quote, "It seems to be a problem for a lot of people. I've always just pitched fast, just get the ball, get right back on there, and get thrown. But it definitely frustrates people. A lot of people seem to be pretty angry."
That's incredible. It's incredible because now I think he's like the third guy in the SEC that you look to now that Texas had to move Ruger around, right? I mean, it's like him essentially, especially after today.
Until we saw Casan Evans today.
That's true. If they stick with that,
you can work fast, but you ain't got 97 fast. And the last pitch Casan Evans threw in the 6th inning to strike out, the last hitter he faced in his first SEC start was 97 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, reverse those numbers, and that's about where Connor Fennell operates. He can hit upper 80s, I think, or somewhere mid 80s. But I mean, the thing about, I'm so impressed with his conditioning, guys. I mean, throwing a baseball takes some effort, and he's just grabbing and going. And the thing is, like, when hitters step out on him, like, he's figured out a way to beat you, whatever. Like, a hitter's got to be in the box and ready to hit,
right,
with before 10 seconds are on the pitch clock. And if you don't, you get a strike called against you. So you got a limited window of time with what you can do as a hitter. And what you're seeing is hitters step in the box, and then you've got to make eye contact with the pitcher. Then the pitcher can throw the ball. What he does is he waits for you to make eye contact, and the split second you do, he starts to go into his windup. So what it is like you look at the pitcher, and you better get ready because you're going to be swinging in 2 seconds. And that can't be easy either.
No. Also, shout out Vanderbilt's offense for a great game today.
Yeah, how much have y'all talked about this game?
We were waiting for you. We're waiting for you, Graham.
Chris, what game was it for Vandy? Like, they lost the first two, and this was like a week or two ago. They lost the first two, and then okay. So like this game today reminded me so much of that for Vandy. Like, they didn't really look good the games 1 and game 2, and then they just explode for game 3. So to me, like, I know they're good, but they're still like very hard to figure out. Like, today is kind of like a sour taste in the mouth if you're Ole Miss. Like, it's a big series win, you'll take it, but I guarantee you nobody was banking on this. Like, this was the worst loss of the season as far, like, Ole Miss just wasn't competitive in this game today. 2 hits, you lose 13-0. Like, off the top of my head, the biggest loss prior to today was Texas beat Ole Miss in week 2, 10-0.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean like this is something that Vandy can build off of.
I think, well, I don't know. Honestly, when I watch them, I don't know that they have had a great game off a stud all year. It's not a top half of the league lineup. It's not a top 2/3 of the league lineup. Now, they've got some young guys that are developing, but I think that the ace level guys, I don't know if they've hit one of those guys all year. But once you start getting into, I mean, they're scoring a lot of their runs on Sunday in the league when they're facing, fifth guys out of the bullpen and a number 3 starter.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I say that they did sweep A&M. A&M's got 3 really good starters, so it's not exact. But I think that and they just haven't been as good on the road. Now, I did talk to somebody today who've been on their staff. We talked about exams, and I said, how much do you think exams have to do with the way they played this week? And he said, I think a lot. So, and I'm not saying that to take anything away from Ole Miss, but their midweek game, that's the first one they've lost all year, and they had some very uncharacteristic errors, mental errors. So I think that was a factor this weekend. Now, I think Ole Miss was going to beat them either way. I watched Friday's game, and Hunter Elliott his control wasn't great.
That's what he's been all season.
But he didn't leave him anything to hit.
Yeah.
There's one thing when you miss with balls, 3 or 4 inches outside where a guy needs a rake to hit it. And there's another thing when you're missing because you don't know where it's going to go and leave one in a fat spot. Hunter Elliott, when I've seen him pitch, just doesn't leave you a whole lot to hit.
Yeah. And unfortunately for Vandy, that was the best Riley Maddox has looked maybe ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Fennell, and I still think, they've if they hit just okay, they're going to be a headache because of their pitching, especially with Hawks back next weekend.
Agreed. And again, this goes back to my point earlier. It matters when you play somebody at a certain time of the season. So Ole Miss called a break, just like Arkansas the past 2 weeks. You run into a red-hot A&M team, and then you play a super talented Florida team that's starting to get hot. So, this stuff, you gotta take this stuff into effect.
Jay, what's on your mind? I think, listen, we've not hit. We talked about Auburn a little bit. We talked about Arkansas, Florida a little bit. Although we didn't really talk much about the Florida end. We talked Tennessee, LSU. We talked A&M, Texas. We got off Vandy, Ole Miss.
We got another super chat, by the way.
Oh, okay. Let me go up. Chat's active tonight. Oh, thanks, Quinn. I missed that. Thank you for Graham.
Thank you, Quinn.
Where would you rank Dutton? I mean, Doyle's your one.
I'd go.
Outside that, he's probably, I take that back.
Kyson?
I think Kyson's 2. And Kyson could be 1. I don't know that one's over yet, but I think after that, he may be 3. He's as good as anybody.
So I guess I'm a little biased since I literally just saw him 2 days ago. I think what hurts Dutton, he wasn't pitching like this the first month of the season. If he would have been like this from day one, we'd be talking about him way more. This is kind of a relatively new thing. And this is now 4 weeks in a row now where Dutton, it's a very small list if anybody's been better than him the last 4 weeks.
I tell you, and I know we'll talk about it this week when we break down what's coming. It's going to be unbelievably intriguing to watch the different styles between he and Liam Doyle Friday night in Knoxville. I mean, because Doyle's going to say, hey, here comes 97, and can you hit it, and then can you adjust? And what Graham said about Dutton's 10-6 curveball is just flat salty. And Graham, you were spot on. He did not have anywhere close to the hype of a half dozen pitchers we can all name.
Yeah.
Coming into this season. But now he's as trustworthy, and that I mean that in the utmost complimentary way. He's as trustworthy as any Friday night pitcher that anybody has in the league.
Yeah. There are so many. I mean, I was just sitting back here racking up names. We haven't mentioned Liam Peterson. We haven't mentioned J.D. Thompson. We haven't mentioned Zach Root. We haven't mentioned those are the main ones that came to my mind.
But you're 100% right, Alfred. You're 100% right. And I'll bet you $1 to a donut that Butch Thompson would not trade Sam Dutton for anybody you just named.
No, I wouldn't either if I were him. Absolutely not.
he's gone at least 4 1/3 in every single start, which dates back to the opener. He was in the rotation to start the year. He has given up 4 earned runs twice. Other than that, he's not given up more than 2 earned runs in any other start. And that's also, like, sometimes you see guys that have good ERAs, and there's an error in there, then they give up 8 unearned runs somewhere. He's only given up 2 unearned runs all year. I mean, that's consistency that's hard to match.
It is. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't give anything away either, because
Right.
even with that nasty hook, he's not walking a whole lot of dudes. And I don't have the stats in front of me, but I mean, he's a guy who's putting it in the zone or around the zone to make guys swing and miss. I mean,
it's around 10 walks, like, right? I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he's barely walked anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's something staggering. I mean, and it's so hard to put a value on confidence in this game, because in both directions, people who are regular with this chat know I don't talk about momentum. I talk about inertia, because when it's going bad, it can go just as quickly bad as it can go good. But his inertia is staggering right now. He believes he's better than everybody.
It's the goggles.
It's got to be.
You can't bet against the goggles. I mean, honestly, it could be the hat. I wish I had a hat on. I'd be right now, so I could be like the rest of the cool kids.
Let's get you an Auburn flat bill.
There you go.
Very flat.
I'll wear a flat bill the next time I wear sandals in public. All right.
Very
Grown man
flat.
shouldn't show his feet. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it.
You could park a car in it. It's that flat. That's how flat this hat needs to be, Jay. Like, just absolutely just.
Yeah.
You can't bend it. Like, I can bend
took
it.
a shot at the size of my head.
I did not say that.
Yeah, 100%.
I just want your hat.
Your hat
flat
size,
on the
Jay.
flat bill.
Boy Scouts can camp underneath it, like one of those.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, can we move on to, like, isn't there a series we hadn't talked
Hey,
about
Chris
before?
was about to give the number. Go ahead, Chris. How many walks?
Well, he's walked 13, but and this is a pet peeve of mine. I don't know why we don't lump hit by pitches in there too, because that happens a lot. He's only hit 4 guys.
Yeah. Wow.
You'll see guys, their strikeout to walk rate is so-and-so. They walk, whatever. Well, they've hit that many too sometimes.
Yeah,
He
but I'm
doesn't
all
do
for
either.
that. I'm all for that. Those guys that own the plate, I'm all for hitting dudes.
Speaking of which, going way back for a minute, when Tennessee intentionally walked Jared Jones today, you don't have to throw the pitches anymore. You just give the pass signal. I was a little surprised that they didn't just, if they want to put him on,
hit him.
Yeah, I mean, with
Is that
all
where
the
you're
stuff
going?
that's gone on in the series, I mean, and Antigua got hit twice last night,
He got
and he and Jones were in the middle of it. Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised. There must have been some pretty strong warnings passed down.
Yeah, that's gasoline on a fire. I mean, that's explosion.
Complete and total tangent before we get to our next topic. I got to tip the visor to Martin's 0227, who called me out for having my T-shirt on inside out. That occasionally happens because this is an undershirt. I normally have a collared shirt on, and he's completely right, because here's the tag's over here in the reverse. So he's 100% right. The shirt is on inside out, and I've been cooking all day. I mean, so there you go.
Got to keep the crowd on their toes. That's how I see it.
Hey, I'm happy. I'm about to interact with the crowd, and y'all got to call my attention, because the other part about flat bill, the only flat bill you'll ever see me in, well, you'll never see me in one, but I'm only wearing visors, because Alfred, you were right. I may have responded unkindly to your heckle, but your heckle was 100% right. My head's so big I can't find caps big enough.
Well,
Like Jay, like look, hat size. Like what are we talking about?
Close to 8.
Oh man.
Wow. You could do the visor though, Jay, because I don't have hair there to really make a visor look good. So that's the difference.
Which is staggering since I'm 30 years older than you.
That's very true. Yes. So that's why I do this and a slight flat bill. So we can agree there, but I just you're keeping the crowd on their toes, which is what matters in the end.
You also still run about 6'4", don't you, Jay?
In the 20?
In the height. No.
I didn't know where you were going with my combine numbers. Yeah, I'm 6'4". But
time yourself in the 20, then we have news here. But anyway.
Yeah, I've lost about 45 or so pounds. It's amazing what happens when you quit drinking.
Yeah. RPI update. Want to get to that because I think that's important.
what a turn! What a turn!
I didn't know where to go after that.
RPI or I mean I don't know what is it? BAC? I mean we're just talking about numbers, I guess. I don't know.
Well, if we want to tie RPI and drinking together, Missouri's at 154, so we'll start there.
Another super chat, by the way.
Oh,
Quinn.
Hey,
Quinn's crushing it.
Thank you, Quinn. Michael Jordan flu game tonight with the super chats. We love it.
Oh, Alfred, good point. We didn't talk Kentucky, South Carolina. Kentucky ended up winning that series. I knew we were missing something. I just couldn't think of what.
Yeah. Things that stood out to me. First of all, great series win by Kentucky. Obviously, they're right on the brink now of 500 in SEC play, which is huge for them. Kind of, guys, this whole season, they haven't been like at the top of the league, but they've been sitting there, right, creeping around, just like hanging about. And now they're starting to, this kind of helps them build back toward 500, which is huge for that mathematical problem with the NCAA tournament and hosting and whatnot. Today, Ben Cleaver threw 100 pitches in 5 2/3. He was just, giving South Carolina their all. He did earn the win, which was great. James McCoy with the save. Offensively for Kentucky, didn't talk about Tyler Bell as much the first 2 games when we reacted to them, but he was fabulous this weekend. Came up huge again today for them with I think it was a home run, or no, it was a double that scored 3 runs. Also big performances. Cole Hage continues to be fabulous all year, so today, and Luke Lawrence with a 2-hit performance. Guys, my thing is Kentucky in the end, they got the series win over the South Carolina team. Like I said, not at the top of the league, but sitting there below everybody, creeping about, just waiting for the right time. And maybe that's starting to come alive here with the series wins they're collecting and stuff. So look out for Kentucky. Thumbs up to the Wildcats after this weekend.
Yeah, they just consistently just kind of fly under the radar. Like they just know who they are. They stick to it. They got the game plan. And I mean, they just never really get blown out of any games, and again, a bounce of a ball here or there, like they would be well above 500 in league play. They're just one game under right now. So, I mean, what a job he's done. I mean, really think about what he did. Like, inherited a tricky situation, Mingione, then you got to deal with COVID, all that. And then, like, finally, once he started to get his guys in and he didn't have to worry about the COVID stuff anymore, that this just kind of feels like the new normal for Kentucky baseball as long as he's there. Super regional 2 years ago, Omaha for the first time last year, and they're going to easily make the tournament this year.
Right.
All right, I'm going to reverse, and then I'm also going to go back to something that made me laugh out loud in the chat. First, Texas Rock said, did I just say close to an 8? And then he said, holy melonhead Batman. Yes, Texas Rocks, I did say close to an 8, but it is what it is. But I'm going to flip it a little bit. That's the death knell on South Carolina, right?
Yeah,
probably. They really, really needed this one. If they would have got today, that's 2 series wins in a row.
But they didn't.
Yeah.
Where are their RPI wise today?
For Kentucky or South Carolina?
Well, Kentucky's, I think, 29. I'm just seeing where South Carolina dropped to because that may affect
They're hovering around
quad
50.
wins. Still no quad 2, 3, or 4 losses. That's just incredible.
It's a weird resume.
5-20 in quad 1 is problematic, but
yeah,
anyway.
Well, quad 1's problematic, and their SEC record's going to be disastrous. And if, as we've mentioned multiple times, if Scott Strickland's going to go in there and elbow for anybody, it's going to start with the Florida Gators. Then it's going to be Mississippi State. So he ain't going to have a whole lot of bargaining power to get South Carolina in this
Right.
thing.
Yeah, they're quad 1, like the opposite of Auburn men's basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and it's a problem. The thing that stood out to me today with them, it's a problem. No offense to these guys, that they're decent depth people they have. When Dalton Mayshore and Caden Gaskin lead you in hitting, it's not a good recipe. I mean, you're just not going to win a lot of games, if any, playing that way. So,
did any of the injuries jump out at y'all this weekend? There were a whole lot of guys, I mean, not playing or sitting out a game, or it just felt like to me that there was kind of a storyline about SEC injuries.
I feel like this weekend more so than any other.
I agree.
Are you talking about stuff that happened during the weekend, or including like Spencer and stuff that led into
Well, Spencer's the headliner because, I mean, I think everybody is holding their breath because as good as Texas has been, and again, we talked about it on the first part of the show, sweeping the hottest team in baseball is worthy of the visor tip, even if I'm not wearing my visor. But after that, there were a whole lot of guys who showed up in slings, who got hit by pitches, who left games early, I mean, it's this time of year, you got to have your dudes.
Yeah. Let's see if we can figure them all out. Like Rylan at Georgia. He's one. Who else is there, Alfred?
Spencer Wiggins in Arkansas. Actually, Jay, thank you for saying that, because Ethan Petrie did not play a whole lot this weekend because of joint stuff.
Oh, wow.
And he's getting
wow.
Yeah.
And the Oklahoma kid.
Oh,
Dayton Taki.
Taki.
Yeah. Gosh, it feels like forever ago.
It kind of does. Yeah, it was because it was Thursday. But yeah, actually, Jay, thank you so much. That's actually a huge deal for South Carolina. They're not going to win a lot more games this year without him. So I hope it's okay for their sake, for winning for pride at this point, if that's what we're calling it.
Well, you talk about a lot of eyeballs on the injury report this coming week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from what I'm reading, they're going to do a scan of that to see what it is on Monday, because McMurray said it doesn't look like collarbone, bone damage, anything. It's something with in his joint, maybe like a nerve, something. So we'll see. Not good for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Growing pains in the McMurray era to start out. Maybe not what those fans expected or anticipated.
Well, it's what happened at LSU, if you remember,
Right.
year one in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Didn't go to plan.
Tennessee sure tried to knock an outfielder out today. Those guys kept running into the wall, into each other on the triples.
Yeah, they were getting the Omaha fever from Hunter Ensley.
Yeah,
great point.
Ensley got kicked in the head at one point.
Right. Great point here from Martin too. Logan Maxwell at Arkansas has been out with hamstring stuff throughout a lot of the season. So keep an eye on that as well.
And shot at A&M, like Deuce is playing with one leg essentially.
Yeah.
Still just giving it a go.
And I do wonder, AJ Russell, how, is that still not 100%? Is it just rust? Like, the guy still hasn't thrown 2 innings in a game all year, has he?
Mm-mm.
No, he was under 6 innings prior to today.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, threw an inning and 2/3, 37 pitches today. If I'm Tennessee, unless you really want to go back to that against Auburn next weekend, I don't know if they'll do that. So we'll see. I guess it would make sense rotation-wise, but it's just you're gonna get the same thing you would out of like Tegan Kuhn's doing it, which is what they did earlier to me at best.
Who did we get back this weekend? Vanderbilt got R.J. Austin back. A.J. Russell was back for Tennessee.
They'll get Sawyer back too.
Yeah, which wasn't an injury. It was just a funeral. But
Well, I'm really looking forward to Tom Sawyer coming back. I think he was tremendous near the river. He was tremendous with a whole lot of his conversations with Jim. I mean, I just think he was tremendous.
Can't hit the curveball, though.
Walked right into that one.
Well,
yeah,
hey, it's all right. Hey, if you don't get that one, then study up on your SATs.
Yeah. By the way, Texas, did you see the 3-6-3 in the game today?
Yeah.
Like off the bat, I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah,
I think that's what makes them special. They make all those plays. It feels like
right. That there's situations with holes that can pop up with who they lose to injuries, and they just haven't. It's just a championship kind of mentality. I didn't know this, by the way. This is probably, I'm just uneducated, and you guys can make fun of me for this. They hand out the trophy, right, for this series, the Texas A&M one, to the team that wins the series and stuff. Schlossnagle.
It's been a minute, Alfred.
Yeah, well, that's true, right? So that's probably why I wasn't as educated on it. But anyway, they did that, and I'm just reminded of the Schlossnagle quote I heard earlier in non-conference play. If there's a trophy out there, we're gonna win it, is the goal, and that bodes well for the postseason. So yes, and actually, Graham, that would make sense why I haven't heard it. It's because they haven't played since I was like in middle school this way at best. So, but yeah, just something else that stuck out. That's why that's what I think makes them so dangerous. Is that kind of mentality he's instilled in them.
We're getting a lot of chatter just about how Texas fans are surprised of how good they are. Like, guys, again, this is what Schlossnagle does. He's been at 3 different programs in the state of Texas. He's obviously familiar with the SEC. Like, the guy's a winner. So, and he's at a place that has a rich history, and now they're all in baseball. So this is the result.
They're all in on everything, man.
They really are.
I mean, if you want to take a step back and say who won the weekend, which I write about in my column at the Times Free Press every Monday, holy cow. Mm-hmm. They're top 5 in softball. They're the best team in baseball. They had like 14,000 guys drafted.
Playoffs in football.
I mean, they just hired Sean Miller in basketball.
And they still made the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Holy buckets, man.
Also, I didn't realize until they said it in the chat, but 2005, quite the year for Texas. Natties and football and baseball.
They're money whipping everybody. And good for them. I mean, hey, it's legal now. Or it's
right.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the regulation now. So go do it. And if you're going to do it up. And Texas is.
Gig and Bart wants us to move on.
Bart's been a great sport, man. This guy has been taking it, and we got a lot of Aggie and Texas guys here tonight, and we appreciate you all.
Marcus, can Florida host a regional? It would be extremely hard and probably not, but they could very well get into the NCAA tournament.
They could.
The metrics are looking great. Right. Speaking of which, let me go down this. This is your RPI after the weekend. Texas at 1, 14-3 in quad 1, guys, and 7-1 in quad 2 for good measure. Georgia back to number 2, Vanderbilt at 3, Auburn at 4, Arkansas at 5, followed by Florida State, North Carolina, Clemson, LSU, Tennessee at 10. Oregon State, which I guess must have gotten Oregon today.
Oregon swept them.
Oregon swept them? How did they move up in the RPI then?
It's probably the highest RPI opponent Oregon State has played.
I would think.
I mean, they pieced their schedule together with Scotch tape.
Yeah, I feel badly for them for that. Anyway, Oregon State's 11, UC Irvine now 12. Coastal Carolina, Alabama, West Virginia, and TCU are your top 16. So if you go strictly by RPI, you would have 5 SEC national seeds and 3 other hosts, which seems about right at this point, honestly. I don't know if they'll get to 5 national seeds, but I think 8 hosts feels realistic. Oh, and that doesn't even include Ole Miss at 18, which I think probably would host at this point. And then Florida at 19.
Yeah. A chance, depending on how Ole Miss closes, a chance to finish strong and be a national seed.
Yeah. I'm going to be very interested to see what the committee does with West Virginia. They're probably going to pull the Big 12, you get a hosting spot. But, I mean, they just have not played much of anybody. The teams they played of consequence, Arizona, they lost 2 of 3. And, I mean, really, guys, that's about it. UCF is a borderline regional team.
Yeah, I just looked at them today for World Baseball stuff. The hardest team they've played is Arizona. Their non-conference is actually abysmal. I wouldn't be shocked if it's like high 200s. Yeah, like in the 200s. They lost the one series that was difficult. Can't say Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's awful this year. And they have, to their credit, they have done what they needed to do. And I think they've swept like 4 Big 12 opponents in a row on weekends. But, I mean, it's like Houston and UCF, who's decent. I'm trying to think of others and other ones too. But, like, that's what we're working with them. So you have to host them. I mean, they have like 5 losses this year. But, yeah, it's not the most attractive resume when you actually dig into it.
Jay, they thought you left to change your shirt.
Well, you know what's funny is my wife just came in here and said, "What the heck are you doing wearing a T-shirt inside out?" So,
can't catch a break.
But no, hey, I'm happy to rip this thing off and show everybody the guns. I mean, sun's out, guns out. But all right. My wife just told me I need to shut up. Hey, I'm coachable now. I'm coachable. And the funny thing is, she just said the funny thing is, y'all think I'm joking. I'm not the funniest person. I'm not the funniest Greason.
There you go.
They would need a sense of humor in your house, would they not? I could not see that.
I'm like a dad joke king. I mean, did y'all hear about the kidnapping on the street downtown in Chattanooga? Everything was good. He woke up.
You've got the calendar, don't you?
Oh, I don't have a calendar.
My wife gave me the calendar.
I don't have a calendar. Dad joke calendar. I just roll with it, brother. I just roll with it.
Right here on my desk. I got that.
Ashamed I laughed at that.
Hey, don't be ashamed. You just got to send a text message to Alfred and explain it to him.
What do you guys want to? Do you want to do medal stand here?
I think we can do medal
players
stand
of the day. All right, and Jay, we do this for the day.
For the day.
So for the
All
day.
Right. Can I go first?
Sure.
All right. Gold medal, Casan Evans. Silver medal, Casan Evans. Bronze medal, Casan Evans. As far as teams go, I'm going to go gold medal. I got to go Texas because you win 3 one-run games, and I know some of our A&M fans are getting tired about all the Texas love, but I'm sorry you can't have anything but Texas love right now. Give me Kentucky in the silver, and I'll take Florida in the bronze.
Go, Alfred.
Oh, all right. I'll hit it. Gold for me, Connor Fennell. 12 strikeouts, pitched the entire length of the 7-inning game today. Absolutely fabulous. If Casan Evans is slotted in now as a Sunday starter, he gets the conversation with Connor Fennell as being the best Sunday guy in the league. But for right now, because Ruger Riojas moved, I'm giving it to Connor Fennell because he's in that spot, and he proved it again today. Silver, Casan Evans. Did not expect him. Shout out Josh Carter for calling that last night. Chris, you were with me for that. Did not think he would start today just based on the role he's been in, but he thrived in it. Helped LSU to run rule Tennessee with a big stretch of innings that he pitched. Very good performance from him. And then LSU getting a lot of love on the podium. Bronze, Derek Curiel. 4 for 4, a home run, 5 RBIs. Freshman of the year right now for me in the SEC. Proved it big time again today. Might be the best freshman in the country if I take it a step further, but that's another conversation for another day. Team-wise, I'm with you, Jay. I'm going to go Texas for the gold. Just swept your arch rival in a series this weekend, all in close games where you etched them all out in great fashion. Solidified yourself at the top of the SEC and solidified yourself at the top of the country. Silver, LSU. LSU with a big silver here. I don't know if you guys noticed, the LSU fans, I don't think are fans of Tennessee that much, and they showed them up in Baton Rouge pretty well. So you'll take that series win. LSU getting back on a really good track after this weekend. And Jay, I think we were the same team-wise. My bronze is also Florida. Florida shot back up into the top 20 for RPI because of the series win at Arkansas. And it just goes to show, guys, you can never count Kevin O'Sullivan out until he is officially out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
When his postseason is all said and done officially. We saw that last year, maybe starting to happen this year as well. Close out for a team to shout out, though, Kentucky. They're also making their ground up at the right time. They just miss out on the medal stand.
Kevin O'Sullivan is officially Steve Austin on this show. Don't count him out. He's going to come off the top rope, and he's going to show up with a 316 shirt on, and it's a fit. And we're going to hear like some obnoxious wrestling announcer who I may or may not have emulated as a child going, "Is that Kevin O'Sullivan's music? Dun 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 dun." I mean,
I felt like I was there just now.
What song is that?
I just made it up, man. I can't. hey, the Southeastern 16 budget doesn't allow us to like copyright infringe.
New theme song for the channel.
There you go.
Get that?
Oh man. One thing Alfred said, I had a side note. Whoever handles the Tennessee social media, whenever they lose, boy, that person's got to have some thick skin. You want to see a mean place? Holy smokes. Go on Twitter whenever Tennessee loses. My goodness. That poor social media intern. All right, back to the podium. I'm going to go teams first. All right, my gold. I'm going to go LSU. They needed this rubber match, and not only do they win big. 12-2 in 8 innings. This is a big series win for them, especially to kind of get back on track, and they do it at home. My silver, I'm going to go with the Florida Gators. They are white hot right now, and you beat a top 4 team at home, so the Gators get the silver. And then my bronze, Vandy. Vandy really, really needed this one. They weren't really competitive in game 1 and game 2, and they went in a big fashion today. 16 hits, run rule Ole Miss 13-0 in 7 innings in that one. So that's my teams. Now my individual players, I'm going to go Fennell gets my gold for Vandy just because a complete game in 7 innings. Struck out 12, walked 1, 93 pitches, 65 were for strikes. Curiel gets my silver for LSU. 4 for 4, 2 doubles, a home run, 5 RBIs, and the 12-2 win. And then my bronze is going to be whoever Chris or Jay picks, because I couldn't think of any.
Yeah, yours is pretty close to mine. I'm going teams. I'm going LSU just because you run rule Tennessee. I'm going Florida because they had so much to bite off to take that series against Arkansas and did it. And I'm going Vandy in the bronze for giving Ole Miss its worst loss of the year and run ruling them in 7 with apologies to Texas, which I gave Texas gold the last 2 days. So we'll spread the love around here. For players, I'm going Fennell, just was unhittable today. Casan Evans next, and then Derek Curiel.
Very good.
Evans could be my bronze. I totally forgot about Evans.
Yeah. Parting thoughts on the weekend, guys.
Mine, Texas, obviously official #1 team in the country, which is great for them and great for all the people in the chat. Continue that, guys. We love having Texas people in here. It's great to see, I guess this sports calendar year, the new teams in the SEC coming into chats and stuff. So keep that up. Interested. I bleed orange. I see you. Thank you for coming in even after a loss. Very interested to see what Tennessee does from here. And I'll even throw Arkansas into that conversation as well. Those are kind of the two question marks, at least right now, as to what they do going forward. Interested to see that after what happened this weekend. And on the flip side of that, Florida and Kentucky, I kind of like the directions those two teams are going in right now as tournament time gets closer, kind of solidifying at least tournament spots, and really Kentucky a hosting spot at this point with getting back to 500 in SEC play. So those kind of things stood out to me this weekend. Can't wait for the remainder of this season as May is now upon us in college baseball.
Similar boat. Texas, clear #1 team in the country. They got a 5-game cushion now with 3 weekends to go. So the Longhorns got to be feeling good. And then kind of come to Jesus moment potentially for Arkansas and Tennessee.
One of the things I think my biggest takeaway are these SEC powers who are finding third-day starters, whether it's Vandy, whether it's LSU, whether it's these guys who can be an anchor at the back on whether it's a Saturday or a Sunday, but that game 3 starter who can shut down somebody else. So, I mean, think about it. We talk about it with the Witherspoons and the Picos and the Sam Duttons of the world and the Liam Doyles. If you can save your bullpen to later in the week, if you know you've got a Sunday dude who you can use your bullpen earlier because you're expecting 5+ innings from a Fennell or a Casan Evans or some of those guys, that's even going to be more magnified when we get to first round, second round in Omaha.
Yeah. My parting thoughts, Jay brings up a really good point. I have followed SEC baseball for a little bit over 20 years, pretty closely. I don't remember a time where there were more good, durable, Major League Baseball caliber starting pitchers. And even a few guys out there like Connor Fennells, who may not be, who can go deep into games. It's at a time where I just remember a couple of years ago, the trend was going completely the other way. You're having SEC Pitcher of the Year with starters who got 65 innings, that kind of thing. So that is an interesting pivot at a time where it's not easy to pitch in college baseball. I think that the arms in this league are just elite. I think Texas's dominance is just unbelievable. I think if you'd said the league is going to be this good, which I'm not surprised it's this good, with all these teams just dominating the rankings in the RPI, for Texas to go 19-2 to this point in the season is amazing. And I know Missouri's included in that. So what? They're still 16-2, which is just unbelievable,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
I think we didn't talk about them tonight because they didn't play, but Georgia sneakily getting a series win over Oklahoma, getting back to 2 in the RPI. Georgia maintains itself in great position to get whatever it wants. Same with Vandy and Auburn, 3 and 4 in the RPI. The schedules are so strong that they've locked in a lot for themselves if they just have a decent finish. Arkansas, I think, is slowly, I was asked earlier, are you concerned about them? It's slowly getting on my radar of concern between their pitching not being as effective as I thought it would be. I just thought this was going to be the league's biggest shutdown staff, and it's not pitching like that. And now you're starting to factor in injuries. So the more I think on that, I'm getting a little bit concerned about them. LSU really answered the bell this weekend. We left with questions on Tennessee. I'm not there to have an answers on them in a bad way, but we got some questions. There's some cracks there, the defense being one of them. And I think Ole Miss out there too is a team that can still go get a lot of its goals after taking 2 or 3 from Vandy this weekend. So, yeah. And with that, I think that's a wrap. So, thank you all for watching. Really
Great chat
grateful for
tonight.
all of you.
Yes,
Great chat. We're
fabulous.
developing. You're seeing some of the same guys in here. We're starting to develop a little bit of the culture for baseball that we got for basketball. Now, most of the screen names here are different. And if you guys that have joined us for baseball follow basketball, we cover basketball at least as well, if not better than we do baseball. So watch us there. Follow our social media account. Graham, you've been doing a tremendous job of that. Where are we? All our handles? Do you have those handy?
Just type in Southeastern 16. Like
Okay.
it'll come up.
Yes.
We're on everything but Snapchat.
Yeah. So follow us there. And we do have our podcast, the audio version downloads at most major platforms. So leave us a rating and some comments there. Help us grow those feeds too.
And of
Man,
course,
guys.
Alfred's on the OnlyFans if you want to get up close and personal with Alfred.
He
Yes.
really dives deep into baseball. That's
This
it.
is not true, everybody. This is slander.
Alfred has got more old man conservative habits, I think, even than us here.
Although that would be really branching out in the social media department if we did that. I will say
Alfred,
that.
I don't think you could find trouble if you tried, my man. And I say that as a compliment.
Absolutely try
That's
not
a good.
to.
That's a really good thing. That's a really good thing. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Yeah, leave it to Jay. Yeah, thank you for watching. God bless you all. Have a great night. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 Central Live with Power Rankings. And I think Wednesday I will probably have bracketology, tournament projections, whatever you call that. I'll be working on that this week to give you an idea of where I think everybody sits in the hosting and making the tournament picture. And then we'll be back to live reactions Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night as we hit the last 3 weekends of conference play. So again, thank you all for watching. Had a lot of fun with you guys tonight. Thank you for spending time with us on a Sunday night. God bless you. Have a great night. You've been watching our SEC baseball content here at Southeastern 16.